Good morning and welcome to Navigating Kindergarten, presented by Alachua County Public Schools Title I Department. We are so glad to have you here with us this morning. This presentation will take about 30 minutes and is being recorded. In the event that we're unable to finish the presentation due to technology issues, please know that this presentation will be posted on our website and emailed to you by the end of this week. We will begin now and hope that technology won't be an issue this morning. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to our Title I team. Valdy Fortner is the Title I Director of Educational Programs, Title III, and School Renewal. You'll hear from her in just a moment. Jennifer Steptoe is the Title I Supervisor. She will be manning the chat box this morning. I'm Mary Cook, the Parent and Family Engagement Coordinator and one of the Part A program specialists. Nancy Morrison will be presenting with me this morning. She is also a Part A program specialist. We have Scott Zoffness, a Part A and Part D program specialist, here with us as well. He will be working with Jennifer to man the chat box. You may have noticed that your microphone is muted. We have a lot of people participating, so microphones have been muted to minimize background noise and other distractions. If you have any questions during our time together, please add it to the chat box and Jennifer or Scott will respond. To locate the chat feature, you should be able to hover your cursor near the bottom of your screen and you will see that you have the option to click on chat to open the chat box. We do ask that you allow Jennifer and Scott to be the ones to respond to questions. As we proceed, you'll notice that there are links embedded in several slides. You will receive a copy of this recording in PowerPoint. Our contact information is listed for you on one of the last slides. As a reminder, this presentation is being recorded. I'd now like to introduce our Title I Director, Valdy Fortner.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mary. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. The purpose of Title I is to ensure that all children have a fair, equitable, and significant opportunity to obtain a high-quality education and reach, at minimum, proficiency on challenging state academic achievement standards and state academic assessments. A critical part of bringing Title I's purpose to realization is connecting with our families, you, and serving as an additional layer of support. As a previous principal, one of my most treasured moments was the first days of school with all of the new little faces experiencing kindergarten for the very first time. It's an exciting and critical year for your child. Parents and families can play an important role during this school year. This webinar will provide you with information and resources that will help your family as your child continues this year in kindergarten. By working together, we hope to strengthen the home and school connection in an effort to increase student achievement and provide the best learning experience for your child. Please know that this is just the beginning of our relationship. We hope that you will see us as an expansion of your school community and available to you.
In order to provide you with useful information and resources to help your child be successful this school year, we will be focusing our presentation on the topics you see listed here. These are topics that are important to address at the start of kindergarten as they lay the foundation for effective habits and strategies for future grades as well. We will be addressing communication, attendance, coming to school ready to learn, discipline, homework, coping with stress, having conversations about school at home, being involved in your child's school, kindergarten standards and assessments, and how to help with academics at home. In addition, we will also be highlighting a few important resources for you. Positive parent-teacher and parent-school relationships contribute to your child's success in school. When these relationships are formed and maintained, children see the adults around them working together and an importance being placed on their education. Communicating with your child's teacher in school may look a bit different this school year due to COVID, but many of the traditional communication tools remain intact. Conferences, for example, may be held virtually this year, but they are still an important way to share information with your child's teacher and school. By staying connected and sharing information, you and your child's teacher can come up with consistent ways to respond to situations at home and school. Whichever way you choose to communicate, make sure that expectations are clearly established. That way you and the teacher will have a better understanding of how to be supportive of each other. Approach these relationships with respect and ask your child's teacher how they prefer to be contacted and what response time you should expect. Many teachers are teaching students both in the classroom and through the digital academy this year. It is important to respect boundaries and acknowledge the challenges that we are all facing this school year. Share with teachers what you are seeing at home, and if you're comfortable, possible family circumstances that may be affecting your child. If you do have sensitive information to share, those conversations are best through the use of the phone. Schools and classroom teachers may still communicate regularly through the use of emails, newsletters, and websites. Each teacher and school has their own methods of communicating with families. Make sure you know what those methods are. The information and language on this slide is taken directly from the Elementary Code of Student Conduct. The Code of Student Conduct is typically sent home at the beginning of each school year. Due to COVID, some information is being sent out digitally. The Code of Student Conduct can always be found on the school board's website, and the link is provided on this slide for you. Regular on-time attendance is of utmost importance. Of course, please keep a sick child at home and follow all school and district guidance related to returning to school following an illness. However, if your child is not sick, your child should be at school each day and on time. When a child misses school, that means that the child has to make up the lessons, the classwork, and homework. That can be stressful for both students and families. When students arrive late to school, it may cause stress for the tardy student while also causing a disruption to the learning environment. Obviously, there are instances where tardiness and absences cannot be avoided. That goes back to making sure that you are in communication with the teacher and school office. Research has shown that people typically perform better when they get plenty of sleep and start their day with a healthy breakfast. This holds true for students as well. It can be difficult when families may be juggling work schedules, family schedules, after-school activities, homework, sports, TV, computer games, etc. That can disrupt meal times and bedtimes. If possible, attempting to set a consistent bedtime and routine would be helpful. Routines help children know what to expect and when to expect it. One idea is to involve your child in setting the bedtime routine. Families can talk with even young children about balancing homework, playtime, bath time, and family commitments in order to create a schedule for school nights. Starting the day off with a healthy breakfast does not mean an elaborate breakfast. I doubt many of us have time for that on school mornings. Many schools offer breakfast, which is an option that is very appealing for busy families. A quick bowl of cereal, fruit, or a protein bar can also be breakfast options for your child. Students are ready to learn when they are well rested and have a full stomach. The district's discipline policies cover a wide range of topics that families should be familiar with. These policies are in place in an effort to provide a safe learning environment for students and staff and can be found in the Elementary Code of Student Conduct. In addition to the district discipline policies, many schools have a school-wide behavior plan based on the district policies. Classroom teachers have procedures in place that are connected to both. These are often explained and taught to children at the start of the school year and revisited throughout as needed. Families may receive information about the class and school behavior plans during open house, which may be virtual this year. It is a good idea to review the plans and talk with them at home with your child. That way your child knows what is expected at school. When school expectations match the ones at home, it is easy for students because kids will see both environments as safe and working together. There are three main purposes of homework: practice and preparation, parent-child connection, and teacher-family communication. Practice and preparation gives students a chance to show mastery of the skills taught in class. It also allows time for review, strengthening and maintaining skills, and gaining confidence. Practice helps students to be prepared for the next lesson, as skills typically build on each other. Homework gives parents and children a time to have conversations about learning and the importance of school. Skills learned in school can also be applied to real-life situations at home. Homework is a method of communication between the teacher and families because families are aware of topics being covered in school. They can see how their child is progressing and how they can best support learning at home. Parents should become familiar with the teacher's homework policy. Some teachers send work each evening while others send home a weekly packet. This school year, students need to be able to log on to Canvas or Google Classroom to complete homework assignments. Creating a homework routine can be helpful. You want your child to know what your expectations are regarding homework, papers that come home, and how to make sure the work gets back to the teacher. This slide is especially relevant this school year. Many students and adults may be feeling anxious or worried. School looks different this year, and that can cause stress for all involved. When it comes to stress, children take their cues from the adults around them. It is helpful to give yourself and children permission to feel stressed. Acknowledge your child's feelings and allow them to ask questions. When answering, keep your answers in child-friendly language and age-appropriate. Children often take comfort when we as adults point out all the people that are helping in situations. For example, the adult at school that is taking everyone's temperature is helping to keep everyone at school healthy. Children need practice deciding how and when to express their feelings and needs. There are strategies that adults can model and teach children as ways to manage stress or anxiety. Creating routines, taking one step at a time, and managing time is essential. Children also need time to play and exercise with family and friends. Keeping a growth mindset helps students to see the positive in different situations. School counselors are a great resource for students and families. You can reach out to the school counselor at your child's school for specific questions, concerns, or strategies related to the topics addressed here. Children appreciate when adults are interested in what they are learning and doing in school. Asking a couple of open-ended questions or giving open-ended conversation starters after school may prompt your child to share a lot of information about their school day. Practice and model good listening skills during these conversations. They can happen anywhere and don't have to last too long. For example, tell me about something funny that happened at school today. What did you and your friends talk about at lunch? What was the hardest thing you had to do today? Tell me about what you read in class. Every school year, it is imperative that schools and families create relationships and work together because we have a shared goal, nurturing your child's love of learning. We have a new normal this school year, but families are still able to be involved in the school community. Take every opportunity you can to be involved in your child's learning. The topics shared so far are all ways to be involved, even if you can't physically be on campus right now. As a reminder, Jennifer and Scott are available to answer questions you place in the chat box. If you'd like the links to some of our district resources, those can also be sent through the chat box for you. I'm going to transition now to Nancy Morrison so she can share specific academic content families should be aware of for kindergarten.
Good morning, everyone, and I am delighted to be here with you. First, I want to talk about standards.
I think she cut out. I'm going to go ahead and continue her slide until
The Florida standards are important. And I'm sorry, Mary.
Nancy, I'm sorry, you cut out at the start of this slide. Would you be able to start this slide again, please?
Yes, and for some reason I'm not on mute, but those are technical difficulties, right?
Of course,
Thanks for bearing with us. I'll start again. So the Florida standards are important because they help all children learn the same skills. They create clear expectations for what your child should know and be able to do in key areas such as reading, writing, speaking and listening, mathematics, science, social studies, art, and physical education. Teachers post the standards that are related to what they're currently teaching in their classroom. And this is consistent in both brick and mortar as well as digital academy classes. Standards are discussed and also written in child-friendly language, often called I can statements. Let's take a look at an example. This is an example of one of the many language arts standards that will guide your child's learning this year. You will notice that the yellow box contains a formally written standard. Well, what does that mean? What are key details? The green box below is written in a child-friendly language and restated as an I can statement. This helps your child understand what they're learning. In the orange box to the right, we have provided some tips for what can be done at home. These tips not only support many reading standards, but help your child become a more critical thinker. Assessment is a critical step in the learning process along with the standards. Assessments affect many facets of education, including student grades, placement, advancement, curriculum instructional needs, and school funding. Some assessments are administered at all schools throughout our district, while others might be specific to your child's school. The first two that we'll talk about are district-based assessments. The first being the Florida Kindergarten Readiness Screener, also known as Flickers, and the Dynamic Indicators of Basic Literacy Skills, also known as DIBELS, are both diagnostic assessments. As you can see in this chart, both Flickers and DIBELS are a form of pre-assessment, and they help identify a child's strengths and areas of growth. These assessments generate a report rather than a percentage grade, such as getting 100% on a math test. Teachers often use this assessment data to review with parents during parent-teacher conferences. Our next two district assessments, iStation Indicators of Progress, also known as ISIP, and Alachua Instructional Monitoring Systems, AIMS, are progress monitoring assessments. As the name indicates, these assessments help a teacher and school keep track of the progress your child is making and if learning objectives are being met. A learning objective aligns with the standards and identifies what should be known by your child at the end of a lesson or a unit. ISIP is a computer-based assessment that is supported by our district's computer-based learning system, iStation. AIMS is a paper-based test given quarterly that monitors your students' progress in reading and math. As you know, learning just doesn't happen in the classroom. You are and will continue to be your child's best teacher. We have included a few suggestions to help you with this important role. If you look at the chart here, we start on the left with vocabulary. Surround your child with a wide range of words. The more they hear, the more they will absorb. For example, if you were taking a walk one day and you notice a specific tree, you could use words like enormous or branches or roots to help them build a larger vocabulary. Math. In math this year, counting and number sense are emphasized. Whenever math and snacking can be combined, learning time will certainly be a big hit. You can see here I suggested using goldfish to count, to add, to subtract. You can use Cheerios, raisins, whatever snack your child likes. Kindergarten is a foundational year for learning how to read. Just like vocabulary, point out letters, numbers, and words from everywhere in your environment. I do want to mention that it's okay to help your child with a word that's challenging them, particularly words like the and was and said that just can't be sounded out. With time and practice, your child will easily be able to recognize these types of words, also known as sight words. Additionally, your child continues to learn through his or her senses. You'll notice that we've mentioned an exploration box with rice or beans or sand, water. Anytime your child can scoop, pour, just dig, and use their senses, they're learning at their best. Our district has a website with a wide range of information such as school calendar, bus and zoning information, as well as school board information. Before we go to our next slide, I do want to draw your attention to the departments word circled in the upper left corner. It is here that you will be able to find district listings, including the Title I website. Alachua County is a culturally rich community. With this in mind, the district website can be translated into more than 50 languages. From the district website main page, look in the upper right corner of the screen for a translation button. A drop-down menu will appear, allowing you to select your preferred language. Parents and students will have access to a wide variety of educational programs and informational resources through My Portal. From the main district website or your child's school website, you and your child will be able to access online textbooks, media resources, virtual resources such as Canvas, Skyward, and Gmail. Your child's teacher will be sending home additional information pertaining to the access of My Portal. Once your child is logged into My Portal, your child's dashboard should look similar to this. This is where the educational and informational resources previously mentioned can be accessed. As we mentioned earlier, you can access the Title I website by clicking departments on the main page of the Alachua County Public Schools website. You will find that drop-down menu, which includes the Title I department. You can also find a link to our website through your child's school website. Either way, you will find a program review, announcements, Title I documents, educational links, family resources, at-home resources, and the Parents Make a Difference newsletter. The Parents Make a Difference newsletter is a free, downloadable monthly publication filled with family and school-related tips and ideas. For example, the September issue has articles on developing healthy habits, such as Mary mentioned earlier, research on discipline, and tips for strengthening listening skills, just to name a few. Along with the newsletter, there's a daily learning planner filled with a variety of activity suggestions. One suggestion from the September edition is have your child read to you while cleaning up after dinner, or you read to him or her while they do the cleaning up. Both publications are available in elementary, middle, and high school versions and can be downloaded in English or Spanish. Remember, there's no subscription. Just log on to the Title I website. I'd like to remind you that if you have any questions about what we just reviewed, please add your questions to our chat box. Scott and Jennifer will be happy to assist you. Thank you. Back to Mary.
Thank you, Nancy. The University of Florida Literacy Institute, also known as UFLI, is a resource that is full of ideas and materials. There is a particular parent resource hub where you can visit and select already created materials to use with your child. The directions for how to use the materials are included, and in some cases, there are short video clips showing an adult working with a child that might be helpful to you. These literacy resources are currently free, and there is no login or account creating required. I'll now transition back to Valdi Fortner to close out our presentation.
Thank you, Mary. I do know that this is a lot of information, but please know that this is just the beginning of our relationship. We hope that you will see us as an expansion of your school community as an additional available resource to you as well. I'm Valdi Fortner, the Title I Director. Jennifer Steptoe is our supervisor. Mary Cook is our Title I Specialist and Parent Family Engagement Coordinator. Nancy Morrison and Scott Zofnos are both Title I Specialists with Part A as well. Please note that their email addresses, if you follow it by @gm.sbac.edu, or you can feel free to call 955-7634. We are here available to assist you in any way that we can. We ask that you please do us a favor and provide us with some feedback by completing the survey and or clicking or scanning the QR code here on this slide. We would love to have your feedback so that we know how to continue to better support you. The focus this year for us is kindergarten. So again, this is just the beginning. So the more feedback that we get, we'll be sure to provide and meet your needs. We'll be releasing grab and go YouTube videos on various topics related to helping your child at home. Our first one will be available and linked to our Title I website in November. And again, please remember that today's recording will also be posted on the Title I website. Thank you again for taking your time this morning to join us. We hope that this has been a meaningful experience. And again, we hope to continue our relationship. Please remember to give us that feedback by clicking that QR code and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.